Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome to From the Depths. I just tried streaming this game and it did not go very well. I had so many problems. I had to restart the stream, end the stream, restart the stream like 3 different times, and it did not go well at all. So I thought, you know what? Forget this. I'm just gonna launch regular OBS. Forget about Streamlabs. It's about time I recorded a video and stopped live streaming. And so here I am. I'm recording. I'm not live streaming, and I finally get to use old OBS, not Streamlabs, and it's so much easier, if you ask me. So here I am. So if you don't know From the Depths, it's a game that I haven't had on the channel yet, and it's a game that I've been looking into for a very, very long time. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? It's on sale. Might as well get it. I want to say thank you to Lathrix, channel name Lathland, for showing me this game, not personally, but through videos and the like. I was able to get into this game and finally buy it. So I've just been going through the tutorial and the streams before I just stopped, because I want to get the hang of the game and I want to actually understand the game, and I'm probably going to dick around a lot in Sandbox trying to figure out my kind of build style, what I like, what weapons I like, what weapons I don't like, what I'm good at building, what I'm not, and then I will move into the actual campaign and try. But for now, I'm just going to go through all the tutorials. Well, maybe not all of them. There are a lot, like an Injustice 2 out here. So for now, I'm just going to try and go through them all, or most of them, and figure out the game. I just did a building section where I built this thing, and wow, the building is weird. It's definitely really weird. So right now, it wants me to build an air pump.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position.
And also, yes, that voice is very
Left
annoying.
click to place the block. Time to take control. With the basic boat parts constructed, we will place a ship's wheel that we can control the ship with our avatar. Don't forget the chair. It's good to have a chair available close to the ship's wheel so that you will not be thrown around while in combat. You can press Q on a chair to sit your avatar in that chair. A basic engine. Now we will build a simple engine to power the propellers. We will go over engines in much more depth in future tutorials. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
Axis is facing backwards by looking at the direction the block should face and pressing G to snap it to the cursor.
Left click to remove the block. No. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
Let's just use tab.
Left click to place the block.
There we go.
Open the inventory by pressing E.
Wants me to
rotate
place a cylinder.
The marker. Left click to place the block. Like Open the inventory by pressing E. Select the flashing red block. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position.
I see how it
wants me to
rotate
the marker.
Like that, right? And maybe like that. No?
Left click to remove the block. Rotate the marker.
Oh, right.
Move
and I have
the
to
marker
turn.
into position. Cycle a central mirror on by pressing Alt-N.
Oh, you do want it on. Okay.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
I still don't really know how you want me to rotate
Move
this.
the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Rotate the marker.
Yeah, be quiet already.
Left click to remove the block.
Darn it.
Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Left click to remove the block. Rotate the marker. Left click to remove the block.
I am so
Move the marker
confused.
into position. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
How does it want me to place this? Okay, so I apparently got it. I have no idea what that
Select
was,
the flashing
but whatever.
red block. Close the inventory by pressing E.
Or
Rotate
escape.
the marker. Rotate the marker. Left click
See,
to
that one's
place the
easy.
block. Don't forget the fuel. What good is a fuel engine without fuel?
You have
Let's
a point.
place a few fuel tanks to supplement the fuel engine. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
That is upside down, isn't it?
Left click to place the block. Left
There we
click
go.
to place the block. The missile battery. It's time to add weapons.
Sweet.
We will build a missile system to provide some armaments for this boat.
And
Missiles are compact and can fit in small designs, so they are excellent here.
Okay.
We will go over missiles in more depth in a future tutorial. Cycle the central mirror off by pressing Alt-N or N. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Gotcha.
Select the flashing red
You want a
block.
controller?
Move the
Okay.
marker into position. Open
we
the
go.
inventory by pressing
And now
E.
you want medium missiles,
Select
I'm
the
guessing?
flashing red tab. Open the inventory by pressing E.
No, you don't.
Select the flashing red block.
connectors,
Left
okay.
click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Now you
Select
want
the
medium
flashing red
missiles.
block. Rotate the marker. Move the
How is it
marker
oriented right
into
now?
position.
That's how it's oriented. So you
Left
want...
click to place the block.
Perfect.
Close the inventory by pressing E.
Yeah, I'm working on
Move
it.
the marker into position.
Ah, you want it on both sides. Okay. See, I'm starting
Left
to
click
understand.
to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Those sound effects are
Select
pretty
the
loud.
flashing red block. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
God damn it.
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
Oh, come on.
Left
There.
click to place the block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
Why are those warheads different?
Select
That's
the
interesting.
flashing red tab. Select the flashing red block. Move the
Staggered
marker
fire?
into position.
Okay.
Rotate the marker.
Oh no, how do you want this?
Move the marker into position.
Gotcha. So turn it around like that.
Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
Uh-oh.
Pressing E.
There we go.
Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Left
Left
click
round
to place the block.
Perfect.
Ammunition. Now we will place some ammo barrels for the missiles to reload from. Cycle a central mirror on by pressing Alt-N.
And then
Open the inventory by pressing E.
E.
Select the flashing red tab.
Resources,
Left
ammo
click
barrel.
to place the block. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block.
There we
So
go.
let's place a few material storage boxes. Materials can also be used
Yeah,
by
that's
the avatar
definitely
to
not gonna
repair the
blow
boat should it get damaged. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position.
Wow, that voice
Left
is annoying.
click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Adding a keel. Our current boat is quite light and may not move in the water very well. The
Not
best
at all.
way to sink the boat down without adding much weight is to use a keel. The deeper the keel, the less weight you need
we
to
should
bring the
probably
boat's
use
center of
lead,
mass down.
Not metal.
For this boat, we'll be using 2 small metal beams and a lead beam. Move the marker into position.
Okay, so you are going to be using lead.
Move
Okay.
the marker into position. Open the inventory by pressing E. Select the
Blocks.
flashing red tab.
There we
Select
go,
the
there's a little bit
flashing
of
red
lead.
block. Move the marker into position.
Well, I want to rotate it first. There we go.
The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Move the marker into position.
There we go.
You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
That's the entire keel.
Well
You know
done.
what? Sure.
We have constructed a basic boat that can hold its own in small-scale combat. With time, you will learn to use more advanced shaping to take all of your dreams. In the next tutorial, learn the boat and start to become a captain of the seas. Congratulations! This tutorial is now complete.
I don't don't think that missile worked correctly, not gonna lie. I don't think that worked
now
correctly.
Let's master ship controls. Vehicles are controlled using controllers.
Wow.
The one we have on this boat is a ship's wheel. It uses a key layout that is appropriate for controlling a boat. Before we get started moving the boat, you should sit in the boat's chair by pressing Q while you look at it. Let's do that now. Tell the ship's wheel to increase main drive by holding U. You'll see that the main drive is listed as 100% on the right-hand side of the HUD, yet the boat is not moving anywhere. That is because the propeller has not been configured to respond to the main drive yet. Let's fix that now. Note that you can configure what vehicle information is displayed on the right-hand side of the screen from the Vehicle Info tab in the Options menu. Press Tab to swap to third-person camera. Now move the camera to the back of the boat and press Q to interact with the propeller. Once the interface opens up, press the Pusher preset button at the top of the screen. This will tell the propeller to respond to forwards and backwards commands that the AI sends.
Which button do we press?
And also primary drive, which is what we have just set to full. Now that the interface has been brought up, press the Pusher preset button at the top of the screen. This will tell the propeller to respond to forwards and backwards commands that the AI sends.
What did I do?
And also main drive, which is what we just set to full.
I don't want it to just do it for me. I want to figure out what I'm supposed to press. Let's see. Now that the interface has been brought up, press the Pusher reset. The what? Pusher reset button at the top of the screen. I see no pusher reset button. Am I just blind? Button at the top of the screen. This will tell the propeller to respond to forward backwards commands that the AI sends, and also main drive, which is what we have just set to full. Okay.
Great. Now close the UIs. Press Escape or click the X in the top right corner. Fantastic. The boat will start to move now. Note that a freshly placed propeller, or jet engine, has default settings so that it can help you move forwards, backwards, or roll, pitch, or yaw, turn left or right the vehicle. Note that you can manually adjust the response to any and all axes and combine them in different ways. Now that the equipment is configured, let's continue working through the controls. Slow down using J.
Okay. J.
Hold J to enter reverse. Now stop the propellers by tapping U and J together.
That's cool.
Now let's get back to full speed by holding U to bring the main drive to 100%.
Perfect.
Now let's turn. The rudder is already configured to listen to the yaw axis. Yawing left and yawing right is another way of saying turning left and turning right. Now we will need to press the appropriate buttons to send the yaw left and yaw right signal to the rudder. Let's turn right using K to send a yaw right command, which the rudder will respond
where are we
to.
supposed to turn?
Nice one. You'll make a fine captain one day. Great snakes! What's that on the horizon? More Deepwater Guard pirates are coming. Good thing we know how to drive this tub. But wait, we need to take control of the weapons. Ensure the Me in the bottom left is selected. This is highlighted on the HUD now and is in the bottom left of the screen.
Wait, why'd you make them small?
Take control of nearby weapons. Use mouse wheel or left and right bracket to select AI. Kill the Vanguard by pressing left control to fire your missiles. Looking at the target is always a good idea.
There we go, come on. You got this, missiles. Have any AI to shoot the weapons right now, so I don't know what would happen if I changed it to AI. Okay, back on the boat, and let's move it this way. I guess it doesn't really matter since these are missiles; they'll hit pretty much everything. But, you know, just in case. And that really didn't help at all. Whatever. Let's try and turn around and go back at them. Speed up. We're not close enough to the guns right now, I think. Okay, let's stop, and since these are missiles, they'll pretty much hit no matter what, so we don't actually have to worry about aiming that much. Please don't get hit. Okay, we're good. I'm honestly surprised we're not dead yet. I think we're actually made so we can't take damage, but
Well done. This tutorial is over.
there we go.
You can scroll back through the tutorial instructions by pressing middle mouse to give you a mouse cursor and using the scroll bar on the right of this window.
Oh, that's nice. Okay,
This
next one.
tutorial will show you how to upgrade a vehicle with AI components that will control its movement and firing. The brain of the system. The AI mainframe is what will control all of the parts that we will be adding to the system. If it gets destroyed, the AI will cease to function. Hold the vehicle still by pressing caps lock. Open the inventory by pressing E. Select the flashing red tab. Select
AI
the flashing
and
red block.
mainframe.
Move the marker into position. AI card slot. Since we want to get some basic navigation set up, first we'll add an AI card slot so that we can add the basic
And then you
AI.
want
AI
circle
card
ship
slots
AI,
are
okay.
also needed for other AI cards, such
you
as
want over
target
here?
prioritization and
You
aim
want
point
local weapon
selection.
controller? Oh, okay.
Time for weapons. With the ship now configured with a basic behavior, let's
What
get the
else?
weapons automated.
Oh, there are two
Local
weapons?
weapon controllers
Yes, there
are
are.
required for this function and will control both turret blocks and main weapon
There
blocks.
we go, that should work.
Let's add one next to the turret and another in front of the missile controller.
And then you
That
want a
way,
connector?
the AI will handle both. AI connectors. There are two ways to connect a local weapon controller to the AI mainframe. The first one
Okay,
will
so
be
that's
a
wired,
wired connection by
essentially.
using AI connectors to connect it to the mainframe.
Gotcha.
This is more useful for very local connections. Transmission. The other way will be through wireless transmission, which requires a wireless
you want a
transmitter
transmitter.
connected to the AI mainframe and a wireless receiver on the local weapon controller.
Gotcha.
We will place the transmitter on the AI first. Now we
guessing
will
I'll be
place a
using these a lot
wireless
more.
receiver on the
Unless
local
I make
weapon controller.
local AI for all
Wireless
of the craft,
transmission
or all the
is
weapons.
the
rather.
most effective way to connect local weapon controllers to the AI mainframe, since it can be done anywhere on the craft with only a couple of parts.
Why do you want a
Blind
connector
as a
here?
bat. Now that we have the
Don't.
weapons configured, they still can't aim well, so we need to set up detection. Let's add some more AI connectors, 4 on top of the ship, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the gun turret. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block.
So what are
Move
these
the
gonna do?
marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
So what are these gonna do again?
Left click to place the block. Now let's add some wireless receivers to the AI connectors.
You're gonna get
Just like the
receivers on
local
all
weapon
of them.
controller
Okay.
using a wireless receiver, these will connect the parts to the AI mainframe. Move the marker into position. Left click to
There we
place
go.
the block. Move the marker
one.
into position. Left click
That's
to
2.
place the block. Move the marker into
Riveting
position.
content, I
Move
know.
the marker
That's 3.
into position. Close the inventory by pressing
That's
E.
4.
Move the marker into position.
And then one last one.
Left click
Perfect.
to place the block. Visual sense. Next we will add on some basic 360-degree
Detection
cameras.
component. Camera
Visual
360,
cameras
okay.
can see nearly anything above water without issue, but their range estimates are quite poor.
Okay.
They will serve as our primary eyes for the other detection to be added. Computer overload. The addition of cameras exceeds the mainframe's processing power,
That's
so
not
they
good.
won't work well. Let's add some general processing cards to the AI connectors attached to the mainframe so we can support the additional detection. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block.
So you can put
Laser
these on the
tracker.
connectors. Okay.
We
that's
need to address the issue with the range estimates being poor, so we can use a laser tracker. They will track a target that's already detected and provide accurate range estimates, which will allow the cannon to fire more accurately.
Gotcha.
Radar gimbal tracker. Just in case the laser tracker gets destroyed, or if the target is covered in smoke, we'll add in a radar gimbal tracker as well. Just like the laser tracker, it will provide accurate information on a target, but they must be within the radar's range. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it.
Oh, really? Oops. Did you want...
Left click to remove the block.
So you
Select
want
the
a radar
flashing
gimbal
red
there.
block.
Gotcha.
Sonar. Right
And then
now our
sonar for
detection is
underwater
ineffective
detection.
against anything underwater, such as a submarine. The 360-degree sonar will solve this issue. It provides solid estimates by itself and needs no other support. However, it must be placed underwater.
There we go.
Now that we have the weapons configured, they still can't aim well, so we need to set up detection. Let's add some more AI connectors. 4 on top of the ship, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the gun turret. Press right bracket to build on the correct sub-object.
What?
Open the inventory by pressing E.
That's
Select
weird.
the flashing red tab. Select the flashing red block. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Now let's add some wireless receivers to the AI
Why did you not
connectors.
rotate that?
Just like the local weapon controller, using a wireless receiver, these will connect the parts to the AI mainframe. Select the flashing red block.
Wireless receiver, please.
Open the inventory by pressing E. Left click to remove the block. Select the flashing red block.
I can't select it. I don't think you understand. I can't select it. Game? Select the wireless receiver. That's this.
Left
There we
click
go.
to remove the block. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Left click to remove the block. Close the inventory by pressing E. Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position.
There we
Finally, let's add a rangefinder to the turret. This will allow a fairly accurate range estimation of the target without need of the trackers. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Left click to remove
How
the
do you
block.
want me to rotate it?
Rotate the marker.
Like that. Perfect. How do you want
Move
me
the
to rotate
marker
this?
into position. Move the marker into position.
Like this, right?
Rotate the marker.
No. Whoops. No, not like that either.
Left click to remove the block. Rotate the marker. Leave build mode by pressing B. The building is complete. Our boat can now drive and shoot autonomously. Oh no! What's that I smell? Oh, the Deepwater Guard are back. Good thing we got our AI integrated. Sit back and hope for the best.
No.
But wait, we need to relinquish control of the weapons so that we are sure that the AI will control them all. Ensure that AI in the bottom left is selected. This is highlighted on the HUD now.
Okay, let's charge.
Bottom left of the screen. Relinquish control of nearby weapons. Use mouse wheel or left and right bracket to select AI. Kill the Nessie. Well done! This tutorial is complete. In the next tutorial, we will learn how to command and control our AI.
Cool. It's a lot of stuff that you need for a targeting system, though. That's interesting.
You'll learn how to set movement and attack orders, as well as triggering automatic combat behaviors. Tactical controls are given in the fleet interface, which is accessed by pressing E.
That's a
Press
different...
E to open it.
That's a different voice actor. Also, the rate of fire on this thing is not great. What is it? That's a lot of recoil. I think. Rate of fire 14.4, that's 4 seconds a shot. Okay,
Let's
anyway.
select our boat by clicking on it on the list on the left, or literally left-clicking on the boat while using a click and drag selection to select it. Now that our vehicle is in manual mode, we can give it orders. Once you begin giving an order, you'll notice that you can set the orientation of the order, and for planes, you will also be able to set the altitude of the order. Give an order using right-click, or right-click and drag to set the orientation of the order. Give it a chain of orders using Shift plus right-click. Let's give it 3. We now know how to manually order our vehicles around. A vehicle can be ordered like this as long as it has an AI mainframe on it with a maneuver routine defined within it. Let's turn the movement off now by pressing the flashing red button. We now know how to disable movement. Note that when you press the vehicle control keys, T, G, Y, H, U, J, I, K, L, etc., it will automatically disable the movement of the vehicle that you are manually controlling for a few seconds. We will now spawn in 2 harmless enemy units to test out the automatic combat behaviours and targeting commands. We will disable our boat's AI weapon control for now. Our boat's AI will pick which of the 2 targets to engage. The current target has a red box drawn on it. We can force our boat to engage a target by left-clicking on the target. We will try that now. Left-click on the enemy on the left to target it. AI mainframes can hold many automatic combat behavior routines. The number they can have depends on the number of AI cards they have in their card slots. We've provided 1 on our boat, so let's enable automatic mode now to turn this behavior routine on. Begin automatic combat behaviors by clicking the flashing red button. Our boat will now automatically begin to engage the enemy vehicles, but we forgot to activate our boat's weapons. We will do that next. Let's turn the AI weapon control on by pressing the flashing red button.
I am flying. Oh no, that's just the camera. Yeah, didn't I just do that? AI. AI. Isn't that...
Our boat will now automatically shoot its weapons at the enemies.
Okay.
This is facilitated by AI detection components and AI local weapon control blocks that control the weapons. Now do whatever you need to do to destroy those 2 enemy units.
I got
Kill
this.
the enemy on the left.
Perfect. That was definitely all me, not my boat
Kill
at all.
the enemy on the right. The fleet interface has loads of other options, many of which will be explained in the subsequent strategic controls tutorial. One final thing we will look at here is the tactical options provided in the map. Use the mouse wheel or left and right bracket to scroll out until the map opens up, or simply press M. Scrolling out even further will bring up the strategic map view. This is useful for grand strategy in the campaign, but we are focusing on the tactical controls at the moment. I've spawned 1 final enemy for you to destroy. The map's tactical elements are very similar to those that you've just used, so you should have no problems in defeating this new enemy whilst in a tactical map. Do whatever you need to do to destroy this 1 final enemy.
Hey, it did
In
it.
this tutorial, we learn the strategic controls of the game, how to make fleets, how to split them apart, how to set partnerships, how to position forces within a fleet, and how to give orders to a fleet. Many strategic controls can be given.
This is all
in the
pretty
fleet
self-explanatory.
interface,
This
which is
isn't really
accessed by
what I
pressing E.
want. What I
Tap E
want to
now.
know is like how to build and stuff, because I know from watching a lot of From the Depths videos how the kind of controls work with the map and everything, but I don't know how building works. I don't know what you need for a craft to work. I don't know what will make a craft work. I don't know what how different blocks interact with the craft, with the weapons and stuff like that. That kind of thing is what I want. So let's go to Learn to Play, and instead of going into these, oh there we go, compact engines. Let's learn to build a compact high power output engine. There we go.
This
That'll work.
tutorial will show you how to place a compact engine that burns materials to create power. The aim of this engine is to maximize power output, but it will have a lower material efficiency. A more material efficient engine will be covered in a later tutorial.
We're going to do some building now. From the Depths uses a novel, keyboard-based building approach, but it also has the more familiar mouse-based building options as well. We always recommend using keyboard-based building, but you can tap F3 at any time to swap modes. We're going to swap you into keyboard-based building now and begin. The instructions will describe everything you need to do to become a master builder.
Okay.
If you cannot manage a step, please press enter to have it auto-complete.
Yeah, get on with it.
The fuel engine generator block starts nearly all engine builds, so it's normally placed first.
Whoops.
Without it, the engine will not function.
Open the inventory by pressing E.
Fuel engines.
Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. The wrong block has been placed. We must remove it. Rotate the marker.
The crankshaft is vital for attaching cylinders to the fuel engine, and they can only be built in a straight line from the main block.
Close the inventory by pressing E.
So that's putting it on a hotbar. I don't really need it on my hotbar.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position.
So you want
left click to place the block.
Cylinders are your main parts for making the engine provide power output. You will attach fuel injectors, carburetors and exhaust pipes to them. In this tutorial, we will only be attaching fuel injectors and exhausts to them.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position.
There we go, that's
left
what I want.
Click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
Okay, you want another
fuel
one?
injectors will add 400 power output to any cylinder they are attached to, but they will burn 0.8 materials per second. They excel at power density, but are poor options for material efficiency.
Left click to remove the block.
Whoops.
Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position.
So do you want it like that?
Rotate the marker. Left click to remove the block. Move the marker into position.
Or do you want it to be...
Rotate the marker. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block.
There we go. Got
Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker. Left click to place the block.
Perfect.
Cylinders will heat up when in use and will have lower output as they get hotter. If they overheat, they won't produce any power until they cool down. Exhausts are the main way to keep cylinders cool and produce more power. Radiators help to cool all cylinders on an engine at the cost of a small amount of material efficiency.
Okay.
Sometimes they can be the solution to an engine that just gets a little too hot to function.
Move the marker into position.
So I see what the orientation that it wants me to be
Left click to place the block.
Perfect.
Now that we've created the basis of the engine, let's
injectors?
expand on it with some more parts. To start off, let's add some additional injectors.
Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
Nope. 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 I want it to rotate on the blue axis. I don't know how to do that.
Left click
There we go.
to place the block.
That'll work.
Move the marker into position.
As more power producing parts are added, we must also add more exhausts to ensure the cylinders are receiving enough cooling to function. By using some junction pipes to connect two cylinders, we can save space and cool them both. The cooler a cylinder runs, the more power output it can provide. Therefore, taking measures to ensure cylinders stay cooler are hard to pass up if you need that little bit of extra power.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
Okay, so pretty much how this works is, so it seems like how building works in this game is you have one central unit, and then you have a bunch of other units that do things, right? You have a bunch of other units that actually do things. So you have, on this one, you have the injectors, which give you more power, but burn through a lot of materials and don't give you much choices and everything. And then you have the cylinders and the connectors, or the crankshafts. In this case, is a crankshaft. So the crankshafts act like the connectors, where in AI, they're literally called AI connectors. Then, and on this model, you have to have the cylinders and then connect the injectors to the cylinders. Then once all that's done, there's another thing that you have to worry about that's not just output, and that would be heating. So in heating, there are different ways to cool things down. Two ways are with radiators, which take up heat, or not heat, which take up materials, which increase the material cost, but they decrease temperature across the entire system. And then there are engine exhausts, and the engine exhausts connect directly to the cylinders and don't take up material as they cool, I'm guessing? Yes. And I believe they have to go to the outside of the craft, although I could be wrong on that one. Okay, sweet. Starting to understand more about the game.
This compact engine is now complete. Well done. With time and practice, you will find ways to get more power output in a smaller package with your engines. In a later tutorial, we will build an efficient engine using carburetors. Carburetors allow the connection of turbochargers and superchargers.
Ooh.
Turbochargers increase fuel efficiency of carburetors at high RPMs, and superchargers increase efficiency at low RPMs. Congratulations, this tutorial is complete.
So how it seems to work with fuel engines is you have the connectors, which are the crankshafts, and then you have to connect kind of secondary connectors onto them, which in this case shown right here with cylinders, and then there's another one which it was just talking about, which are the carburetors, and then you can connect different things to different ones.
In this tutorial,
So that's pretty cool.
The game, how to make fleets, how to split them apart, how to set flagships, how to position forces within a fleet, and how to give orders to a fleet.
Cool. I'm not going to do strategy. I kind of already know. Vertical launch missiles, those are missiles, whatever you want to call them. Those
This
are pretty
tutorial will show
straightforward.
you how to build a basic missile platform. To be more specific, we'll be constructing a vertical launch system for the missiles. Missile systems are rather expensive and use a lot of material to reload,
That's actually.
but they are amongst the most compact of the weapon systems and can be configured for a variety of roles.
And they're easy.
Don't leave home without one in your fleet. The start of every missile
And
system
reliable.
begins with a missile controller. Go ahead and place it first.
Enter build mode by pressing
Yup.
E. Open the inventory by pressing
Yup.
E. Select the flashing red block.
So with this
Select the
one,
flashing
how
red
how
tab.
missiles work is
Select
that you have the
flashing red
controller,
block.
right, which is kind of your base. That's with the fuel engine. It's
Select
the
the flashing
equivalent of
red
the fuel
tab.
engine generator.
Select
So that's
the
like your
flashing
base
red
block. That's like the AI mainframe, the fuel engine generator. This is like your base block. This is where everything connects to. Then you have the connectors, the missile connectors, and then you connect these. These are your primary connectors, then you connect them to your secondary connectors, which would be the small missiles, medium missiles, and large missiles. These three, the gantries. No, I don't think those are the gantries, are they?
Select the flashing
The
red
launchers,
tab.
the launchers, that's what they are. So you connect them to the launchers, and then off there, to connect to the launchers, you can connect the gantries to the top of them, and the gantries can control how many warheads you have on the missiles. So the number of warheads, not number of warheads, my bad. The number of slots is equal to the number of gantries. And then you have different types of gantries, it looks like. Then rail gantries, reverse launchpad, don't really know what that does. And invisible rail gantry, not really
Open
sure
the
what those do.
inventory by pressing
But,
E.
anyway,
Select the
that's
flashing
kind of
red tab.
how this
Select
game
the
works, it
flashing
seems like.
red block.
Or how
Move the
building in this
marker
game works.
into position.
Connectors will allow you to connect the launch pads to the system. For this setup, we will only need 3 connectors. Place them as shown. The launch pads are the beginning of the actual missile to be launched by the missile system. There are 3 sizes to the launch pads you can use. For this tutorial, we will use the medium launch pad.
Move the marker into position.
Can I have to zoom in? Like that. Okay, there we go.
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into
I
position.
really should
Missile
have mirror
gantries
mode
will
on.
determine the length of your missile and can be as long as you wish. The longer your missile is, the more modules you can fit onto it, but
Modules,
going
that's
too
what they
long
call
will
it.
reduce your missile's speed and turning potential. With the
Yep.
missiles now placed, we will add ejectors to the launch pads.
Okay,
These
so you
aren't
do need
necessary,
ejectors.
but they help the missile clear the gantry at a faster
need.
pace. They can also be configured to eject the missile at certain angles if you aren't using a hatch.
Cycle the central mirror off by pressing Alt-N or N.
Why would I do that? How does it want me to place these? Like that?
Cycle the central mirror off by pressing Alt-N or N.
The Identify Friend or Foe add-on, or the IFF add-on, is essential for any offensive missile in a fleet-on-fleet combat. They will keep the missiles from locking onto friendly craft. You only need one per system, but don't forget it.
Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
If you are firing multiple missiles, you probably don't want them all firing at once. The Staggered Fire add-on allows you to set a delay between launching missiles so they can be scattered out over time.
You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
We put one more extra on there. But anyway, so on these, it seems like you have to connect to the secondary connectors. You have to connect the ejectors. Well, you don't have to, but they make it so it shoots the missiles instead of just using the rockets of the missiles. They can act as propellants, so those will work with bombs better and stuff like that. Then the staggered fire makes it so it staggers the fire of the missiles, and those connect to the controller. So like more AI kind of stuff connects to the controller, and then identify friend or foe, of course, so you're not shooting your own vehicle.
This basic missile system's construction is now complete. The missiles themselves will need to either use radar seekers, laser designators, in order to lock onto a target at such a large angle. You can always press Q on a launch pad or its gantries to bring up the missile and adjust the modules. Check out some of the pre-constructed missile systems to get a better grasp on the many different missile types you can make. Congratulations, this tutorial is complete.
I don't really want to leave it though. Okay, so and then after you make the thing, you can actually go in and then customize everything. But actually, I want to get rid of stagger fire because I have an idea. It's not gonna let me? Okay. Oh well. Return to main menu. But missiles are the more like basic craft, like it kind of they're pretty easy to set up since, showing as I just set them up pretty easily. Learn how to gather and produce resources as well as learning how to build a fortress. I think I kind of know how to do that. I'll unpause the recording if there's anything in there that I don't know so I can show you guys.
Create dangerous gas. If the dangerous gas gets too high, the refinery will take damage and explode. Flare stacks will mitigate the dangerous gas buildup. Let's place a few of those.
Move the marker into position.
So pretty much what just happened was I loaded up the mission and it gave me this fortress. I did build this. This is what it gave to me. So it pretty much just told me make resource gatherers, which if you don't know, there are resource zones in the game which give you resources, but you need them, the gatherers, which you see at those things that are protruding lasers. To gather them, they made me put down storage for both oil, as you see here, and resource, which is out there. And that's pretty much it. It also said that fortresses need Sky Fortress turbines to stay up.
Move the marker into position.
So now it's telling me how to make a refinery, which it said they make commodities, but you need a 1 million resource in storage in order for a refinery to work. And so it just told about dangerous gas. So
move the
it made
marker
me put this
into position.
Refinery down.
Move the marker into position.
Flare stack down.
Move the marker into position.
The desalter is the first piece used to make refineries more efficient at commodity creation. Only one desalter works per refinery system. The coker is another add-on for the refinery that moderately increases the efficiency of conversion. Unlike the desalter, you can have as many cokers as you like. The catalytic cracker is the last module covered for the refinery. It increases the volume of materials processed into commodities. You may also have as many of these as you'd like on your refinery. As modules are added onto the refinery, the dangerous gas will build up faster. Let's attach more flare stacks to keep the dangerous gas under control.
Move the marker into position.
What good are your cannon ships without ammo? Ammo barrels allow weapons to access materials for reloading. You normally need a lot of them for your larger craft. Let's place a few more ammo barrels onto this fortress.
Move the marker into position.
No, I got this. This is definitely not dangerous at all. If you don't know, ammo barrels are highly explosive. So, putting them next to probably the most important and most expensive thing on the craft. Very smart. Oh yeah, and with minimal protection. Perfect. No, it actually just wants me to put them over here. But that's boring, come on.
Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block.
Okay, I get it.
Energy is a different type of resource that is stored in batteries.
Well, I'll be
Which
back
can
if
be
there's anything else
recharged
new.
in very... We're going to learn about moving material around and resupplying our units. This tutorial will be of most help in preparing for campaign play. We're going to do the entire tutorial with out-of-play forces, first introduced in the Strategic Controls tutorial. We will do everything from the fleet interface. Let's open it now. Open the fleet interface by pressing E.
Well, I just went back and did, I also did the strategic control tutorial, which is the one that we
I've
skipped
created a
over.
resource harvesting fortress for you. It has resource gatherers on it, powered by fuel engines, which burn some material, and it generates material when in a resource zone. If you mouse over the material gatherer unit, you'll see it has spawned with 100 materials. These numbers will not change until it enters a resource zone and begins to harvest. Let's move the material gatherer into the resource zone now.
Listening. Moving out.
So I got the basis
Move
of
the
that.
material gatherer into the resource zone. Select the unit and right-click in the green
Moving
resource
out.
zone ring. With the material gatherer in the zone, it will
Yellow.
start to burn some materials to gather much more material. We will need to defend material gatherers in order to survive. I will create a guard vehicle for you. Okay, a guard vehicle has been created for you.
Moving now.
Let's put both of these two units in the same fleet. You were shown how to do this in a Strategic Controls tutorial.
Yes, I was.
Now let's rename the fleet to Processing Fleet by pressing the flashing red button and typing the new name in.
That should
What
work.
we want to achieve is the material gatherer giving materials to the guard boat. We will do this
Okay.
using supply types. First, we activate Resource View, which shows loads of extra logistical options. Activate Resource View by pressing the flashing red button or
Okay.
pressing Ctrl R. We're now going to set procurement levels.
Listening.
These are the minimum amount of different resources we will keep. Resources above these levels can be given away to other forces, but we will never give away so much that we drop below these procurement levels. Set the material gatherer to only keep a small amount of material, so that
Gotcha.
it can give a lot to the guard boat. Look for
Cool.
the flashing red button.
That's
The
interesting how
desired
that works.
levels are now set, but nothing is happening. That's because we need to assign the supply type of these two forces. There are 3 supply types: creator, cargo, and user. The settings determine how energy and material are shared between vehicles. Let's arrange our forces into types now. Put material gatherer into creator type by selecting it and left-clicking the flashing red button.
So if you didn't catch that, pretty much what you do is you go into Resource View and it pulls up this menu, and then you get to check, or you get to click on how much material, or what percent of the storage you want the craft to try to fill up. So uh, on holding crafts, if you put it to like say 20%, or if you have a craft that's getting material and you put it to say 20%, and you have a craft nearby that's at 70% and it doesn't have as much, or it doesn't have 70% of its material storage full, and the material gatherer has all of its storage full and it's still getting more, the material gatherer will will transfer material over to the guard boat, if that makes sense at all. Anyway, and then I'm not sure what these do. So these are roles. So this is what this does. So creators will fill your resource storage. Your surplus will be given to user types. Your procurement levels for resources will be maintained. You'll also keep creators at their procurement level. That's interesting. Cargoes. Creators will fill your resource storage. Your surplus will be given to user types. So what's the difference between all these? Not sure with any of those, honestly.
Receiving.
Material
Listening.
gather. Oh, whoops.
Put
wrong one.
guard boat
Receiving.
into user type by selecting it and clicking the flashing red button.
That should work.
We will now see numbers flying around the screen representing the flow of material between these two forces. You will also see a green bubble outline that shows the forces sharing this material. Supply groups are useful for keeping all forces in a fleet well stocked.
Moving now.
But what about supplying distant fleets? I've spawned in a distant boat called combat boat with no material, and a supply vessel called supply boat with loads of storage capacity for material. We will start by setting supply boat to be a cargo type. This will mean that materia gatherer tries to fill it up with material. Select the supply boat force. I'm now going to move the camera a bit so that you can see everything. We will now wait here until supply boat is full of materials. Press the ×10 button in the bottom right corner of the screen to speed up time. Because we set guard boat to demand high amounts of material, this will take some time. Whilst we wait, we will configure the supply boat procurement levels. We want to set the procurement levels to the bare minimum so that most of the supplies are given to the combat boat that we are supplying. Set the supply boat to only keep a small amount of material so that it can give a lot to the combat boat. Look for the flashing red button. Order supply boat to move near combat boat.
So pretty much how this works is creator will give to cargo and user. Cargo will take from creator and give to user. User takes from both. That's interesting. Okay, so you want to move closer, gotcha. And then now it's moving over. Oh, you want it to move to combat boat, okay.
So now, combat boat. Now we will make the combat boat a user type, so that the supply boat provides it with loads of material. Put combat boat into user type by pressing the flashing red button. Now we will set the procurement levels of combat boat so that it can be fully resupplied by the supply fleet. Let's set the procurement for material to its maximum level. Set the combat boat to keep maximum material so that it's always combat ready. Look for the flashing red button. If you move supply fleet back and forth between processing fleet and combat fleet, you'll see that supply fleet will refill and empty its supplies until the combat fleet is full. This tutorial is now complete.
That was pretty straightforward. Okay, since it gave me 3 options, don't really know what that means, so let's go to the main menu and learn to play. Okay, so we have armor piercing high explosive cram, efficient engine, so it gave us how loud is that in the recording? Pretty loud, let's turn that down a little bit. There we go, that should work. Yeah, they revamped the music recently in the game. It sounds really cool. But so we have the efficient engine. Since earlier it only gave us like a basic engine and it wasn't very efficient. It wasn't very resource efficient. So APS cannon, which is armor piercing. No, it's just advanced projectile system. Okay. Is that an advanced cannon? I think that's advanced cannons. I'm pretty sure crams are going to be easier to make than advanced cannons, but I could be wrong there. Then you have the steam engine guy. These are like all the guys that I actually want. Like these are all the guys that I actually want to go through. Guides, that is, that I actually want to go through because these are building the different actual craft or pieces of the craft. This is a weapon, often a weapon, kind of. I mean, yeah, a weapon, and then you have engine. Oh, and learning AI, that's gonna be fun. But anyway, let's go into a cram.
With only missiles. So we will be looking at how to build a new
It
weapon.
is difficult to succeed in
we'll
all
be
your battles with
constructing
only
a simple
missiles. You
armor-piercing high
don't say.
explosive, which is APHE, cram cannon.
You know,
Cram cannons can make the biggest booms by lobbing massive shells at your target.
true.
They work by cramming pellets into the shell and then firing it. The shells are quite slow, but can pack a tremendous punch. We will be constructing this cram cannon on a turret block, which will allow the cannon to rotate and fire in nearly any direction we need it to.
We're going to do some building now. From the Depths uses a novel, keyboard-based building approach.
Oh, shut up.
But it also has the more familiar mouse-based building options as well.
So
We
crams
always
are like
recommend
just
using
lobbing a
keyboard-based
giant
building,
shell at
but you
the
can tap
opponent that
F3
blows
at
up
any
and
time
stuff.
to swap modes.
Or it can
We're going to swap
penetrate
you
and blow
into
up. So that's how you
keyboard-based
make
building
mortars.
now
You can
and begin.
you can
The
also
instructions
make
will describe
bombs if this
everything you
person
need to
will
do
shut
to
up.
become a master builder. If you cannot manage a step,
Yes, I've
please
heard this
press
like 20
enter
times
to have it
before.
auto-complete.
Since we are building on a turret, we will start with the spine of the cram cannon by setting up the connectors. These will serve to connect the firing piece and autoloaders in the following steps.
You want connectors.
Select the flashing red block. Select the flashing red block.
Six-way
Left
connectors.
click
So
to place
here,
the block.
see what I mean? This is the turret, which I'm not sure if that's like the base block of the gun or whatever, but it's the turret, and then this is the connectors that are coming out of it.
Move the marker into position.
Now that we've built the connectors high enough,
Why are they all
we
red?
can add the firing piece.
Oh,
It's the
because they
main
have the
part
firing
of the
piece,
cram
okay.
cannon.
See, the
Without
firing
it, the
piece is the
cram
main
cannon
part.
will not function. We're going to immediately start building an optimized barrel for the cram cannon. Since we are on a turret, we will make use of the elevation barrel to maximize our vertical firing arc.
Right, because
We
this is
need
only a
one
one-axis turret,
elevation
isn't
barrel. Next, we will add the motor-driven barrels. Ththese allow the cannon to retain its large field of view, even when regular barrels are added. For this cannon, we are only going to need 4 motor-driven barrels. Finally, we will add on 4 regular barrels to the end, which will help improve the cram shell's speed and accuracy. Gauge increasers are vital to make the cram cannon have the big boom that they are known for.
So
We will add
pretty
10
much,
gauge
if this
increases for
person
this
will
size
shut
of
up,
cannon.
like I want to
Open the
explain my
inventory
input
by pressing
but
E.
okay, I get it.
Hold the vehicle still by pressing caps
So
lock.
pretty much
Open
this
the
is
inventory
the
by
barrel,
pressing
and all
E.
that he just said was there are different types of barrels that do different things. So you have the regular barrel, which is just going to be a barrel, it's some metal, and so that's going to increase accuracy. That's going to make accuracy better, but it can have some other detriments, I'm guessing. Then you have the pivot barrel, which, as it says, so barrel, standard barrel component for the cram cannon. Then you have pivot barrel, increases barrel rotation speed. And then you have the elevation barrel, which increases the elevation coverage of the barrel. And then here,
Select the flashing red block.
you want
Left
gauge
click
increase.
to place the block.
Okay.
Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Left click to place the block.
Working on it.
Payload compactors and pellet boxes need to be placed on payload packers. Therefore, we will jump straight to placing them. Place 12 packers around the connectors.
Open the inventory by pressing E.
Yeah, shut up. So the gauge increase goes on the firing piece. It looks like the gauge increases go on the firing piece, and the gauge increases, well, it increases the maximum possible gauge of the gun. So that'll just make it fire a bigger shot.
Select the flashing red block. Open the inventory by pressing E.
That's the one.
Rotate the marker. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
This one's gonna be
Move
fun.
the marker and place the block.
There we go.
Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Rotate the marker.
What are we placing
Move
right
the
now?
marker into
Those are
position.
payload packers,
Rotate
okay.
the marker. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Left click to place the block.
Next up, we will add payload compactors. When connected to packers, they increase the packing capacity of the shell. Let's make good use of that.
Open the inventory by pressing E.
So you have the connectors, and then you have the packers, which fill shells with damaging material from the attached pellets. So you attach things to the packers, and then they'll do stuff. So
Select the flashing red block.
it wants me to put a
Rotate
compactor on
the
there.
marker. Move the marker into position.
And I think I know what position it wants me to put it in. Maybe?
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position. Move the marker into
because
position.
Because it's 3 axes, but you're only given 2 axes to
Left
move on.
Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
Because you're given
Pellets
WS
are what
and
give cram
AD.
cannon shells their power. The more pellets packed, the more they affect the shells. Hardener pellets increase the armor-piercing value of the shell, which is helpful for busting
I
holes.
want EMP?
Let's add some in.
The wrong block has been placed.
Come on,
we must
let me do
remove
EMP.
it. Left click to remove
Fine.
the block. Left click to place the block. Move the marker into position.
Explosive pellets infuse the cram shell with explosive properties, which can make them very deadly. Let's add some explosive pellets to the shell.
Hold the vehicle still by pressing caps lock.
The fusing box is a vital asset if you wish to have more dynamic shells. They allow features such as penetration depth, inertial and timed properties. After placing the fusing box, you can press Q on the box to select your fuse. Fusing is optional.
You're done. Leave build mode by pressing B.
So this will show where the so the fusing box just like lets you change stuff. Okay, that's interesting.
Well done, this cram cannon is complete. This is a rather small and basic cram cannon, but it can set a base for your much larger creations. Before exiting the tutorial, we recommend to check the fusing box by pressing Q on it and see what options for fusing are available.
Oh Jesus Christ. So it looks like with how many gauge increase I have on there, the more gauge increase I have, the more the bigger the shell, of course. But the longer it takes to reload. So honestly, I don't need that. Sorry, I don't need that particular line. I see what it's doing, but that's not really needed. As you can see, that's the laser pointer. But yeah, that takes forever to reload. Packing rate 21 per second. Max packing time 52 seconds. Yeah, that's not nice. Connected packers saying 2, so the more packers you have, the faster it packs? I'm guessing. So, payload packers, there we go. It says I only have 2, but I definitely have more than 2. Let's see. Packers ready. Let's go out of build mode and see. Stats, there we go. No, it's not saying how many packers. I don't know where I got that before, but... Oh, connected packers. There we go. So you actually are looking at the explosive pellets. Or the pellets, not the actual cram cannon itself. Gotcha. Let's go through all of the cannons, and then I'll go back and do the engines.
The Advanced Projectile System, simply known as the Advanced Cannons, is a fairly complex system that allows a large variety of cannon systems, which can range from small rapid-fire cannons to large cannons firing heavy shells that are capable of dealing massive damage. It uses an ammo controller and shell customizers to allow the creation of various shells. Mastery of advanced cannons will take time, but are well worth the investment.
Yeah.
The firing piece is the main piece that is part of the advanced cannon. It is here that you will attach magnets, gauge increases, coolers and railgun fixtures. All will be explained in this guide. You can also press Q on the firing piece, which has various options such as the idle barrel angle, number of barrels and much more.
So I'm guessing this is equal to the firing piece of the cram cannon. It's kind of the same thing. You connect connectors to it, and you can connect other stuff to it.
The magnet that attaches to the front of the firing piece and it allows an increase to the firing angle of the cannon. You can only have one mantlet per cannon, and it is necessary to allow a wider firing angle.
Allows an increase to the firing angle of the cannon. Okay, so that lets you, like...
There are 5 mantlets to choose from for your cannon's needs. Each of them have advantages and disadvantages, so use the one most proper for the cannon you are making. For example, if you are making an anti-air cannon, the AA mantlet is fantastic with its high elevation capabilities, but it has poor azimuth rotation. Put a cannon that uses an AA mantlet on a turret for the best of both capabilities. It's never a bad idea to experiment to find what mantlet is best for the occasion.
Okay. So, 5 mantlets to choose from. Each of them have advantages. Use the one most perfect for the cannon you're making. If you're making an anti-air cannon, the AA mantlet is high. So what does it actually change? Like, what does it actually,
Barrels attach to the mantlet and serve to increase the accuracy of the cannon, while also being important to allow gunpowder to burn and increase the shell speed. A proper barrel length is dependent on the cannon, so you may need to adjust the barrel length later on once you have everything set up. There are beamed versions of barrels, alongside a heavy barrel counterpart that is more durable, but also much heavier and more expensive. It is best to use as many extended versions of barrels in order to increase durability of the barrel line.
Barrels. Okay, cool.
The bore evacuator is not a necessary part of the barrel, but it reduces the cooldown of the cannon, which will allow the gun to shoot faster. However, the bore evacuator is not a durable piece and will create a weak point in your barrel line. Choose wisely for its placement since it can fit anywhere on the barrel line.
So you have the beamed versions, which are the beamed barrels are, if this guy will be quiet, the beamed barrels are high durability,
however, the bore evacuator is
and
not a
the
durable
bore
piece
evacuator is low durability, but the bore evacuator will let you shoot faster.
Anywhere on the barrel line.
That's cool.
The muzzle brake attaches to the end of the barrel line and reduces the recoil of the cannon while also slightly decreasing shell speed. It's mainly used when further reducing recoil of the cannon is necessary. Just like the bore evacuator, the muzzle brake is an optional piece. However, it will only fit on the end of the barrel.
So this will only go on the end, and it does decrease the speed of the shell, which may make it more inaccurate and may make it do less damage. But decreased recoil means possibly faster firing speed and firing rate, and also decreased recoil could mean increased accuracy, depending on how you make
With
the
the
gun.
externals of the cannon covered, let's look at building the functional parts of a cannon. To start off are the gauge increasers. As stated in their name, they increase the gauge of the cannon so it can fire bigger shells. They connect to the back of the firing piece or onto splitters and/or coolers. An advanced cannon only requires up to 8 gauge increasers. Any beyond this are redundant and provide no additional effect.
That's interesting. So the gauge increasers, there are 8 total, or 8 max rather, not total. And they increase the gauge, which will increase the power, but there are some side effects to that, I'm guessing. Like, the higher the gauge, the more recoil, the less firing rate, the more expensive, stuff like that, but they do a lot more damage. Probably the first thing that I'm going to do after this tutorial, because I'm sure it's going to make me make some kind of advanced cannon, but after that I just want to go into the sandbox and make an absolute minigun. Like, it'll probably break my computer, but like 8 barrels or something insane like that, no gauge increasers, tons of barrel evacuators, some muzzle brakes on the end of every one, and just try and make it really, really fast fire rate.
The gauge splitter attaches to either the firing piece, gauge increasers, or gauge coolers, and serves to turn the gauge line in another direction or 2 separate directions. This can allow a more complex placement of gauge increasers or coolers. Gauge splitters also act as cooling units, which will help increase the rate at which the cannon can fire.
Okay, don't really understand that piece very much. This can allow more complex placement. Description of the current stage. This can allow more complex placement of the gauge increasers or coolers. Gauge splitters also act as cooling units, which help to explain the rate at which the cannon can fire. Okay, interesting.
Gauge coolers allow the cannon to cool down faster, which will increase the possible fire rate of the cannon. They allow the connection of other parts on them, just like gauge increasers and gauge splitters, and also connect in the same fashion. There is no technical limit to how many coolers can be used on a cannon, unlike gauge increasers, and there is no penalty to using more. If they make the gun fire too fast, you can always set the fire rate by pressing Q on the fire piece and adjust it in the Advanced Projectile System tab.
Okay. So, what's the downside to using them? And also, what's the actual piece? Which piece are we talking about? Oh, we can move this around. Okay, that would make a lot of sense. So on the current build, we have barrels. Okay, 4 regular barrels. Then we have the muzzle brake at the end. We have the Omni mantlet, which is just some random mantlet. We have the firing piece, 3 gauge increasers, cooling vent splitter. Oh, okay, so that's how the splitter works. So it'll take the gauge increasers and then it'll make it so you can have more attachment points. Gotcha. And then this can connect to cooling vents. Close the barrel after firing and allows connections in multiple directions. So does that only allow for connections to cooling vents, or does it allow for connections of other things? So what other things can we connect to it? And then we have the cooling vents. And then if there's a cooling vent splitter, are there other types of vent splitters, or just this one? Cools the barrel after firing and reduces the time before the next shot can be taken. Okay, so they take up slots though, but there's no penalty using more if they make a gunfire too fast. Okay, which will increase the possible fire rate of the cannon and will allow the connection of other parts on them, just like gauge increasers. So gauge increasers allow for parts to connect. So is that parts connect to the side or just the front and the back? I'm guessing it just means the front and the back.
Connectors serve the simple purpose of expanding the cannon system away from the gauge line. They connect to gauge increasers, coolers, and other connectors to allow the placement of auto-loaders, railgun chargers, and the miscellaneous parts such as the predictor and laser targeter. Most cannon systems can be built without using connectors, but they can serve as an omnidirectional input for other parts when in a pinch.
Okay, so then the cooling vents and the gauge increasers can attach to the connectors, and these allow you to connect more stuff to them, including connectors. So is there not a limit? So can you just keep connecting connectors and connectors and connectors and then connecting things off the connectors? And there's just no limit to what you can do with that? Because if that's the case, and there's like no downsides to keep doing them, it's like you can just keep doing them, just balance all the levels of the cooling, the gauge, and all that, and you can just keep adding stuff to it. If that's the case, I like it because it's simple, but I'm sure that's not going to be the case, and it's going to be like the more connectors you get, the less optimal it is, and the more the exponentially more cooling you need, or there's a limited amount of cooling, or something like that. But yeah, I can see where Tetris really comes in here. And I'm guessing you can only connect one thing to the connector, so you can't go like connector and then something that connects to the connector and then something that connects to the connector again. I'm guessing you can't do that. So really, this is trash. This layout is trash for Tetris. Tetris-wise. I guess it's not, because you could have one here, one here, one here, one here, and that fills that space in. I take it back. This is not trash. I was thinking of something else. But realistically, you would want this to go down or this to go down, so you have one up, one down. So if you put something in the middle here, it's not going to connect to both, and then you can put something in the middle here at the top and at the bottom. Then here you would want one going down. Yeah, you would want one going down, maybe? Maybe. I mean, any direction is fine as long as it's not to the left. Yeah, as long as it's not to the left of the connector. No, I guess if it's back, that's a problem too. Okay, cool.
With the basics of the gauge line covered, we will now look at one of the most important parts of the advanced cannon, the autoloaders. They come in various sizes which allow for the loading of many shell sizes. You will want to use the proper autoloader size for the shells you are intending to fire. If you are launching 500mm shells, then you may want autoloaders at least 4 meters or longer.
That kind of cut off, but I wonder what you mean by that, because 500mm shells, autoloaders at least 4 meters or longer. So are there different types of autoloaders? That's what I picked up from that. It's like if you go into your build menu, you're going to find different types of autoloaders, different lengths. But if you want 500mm shells, autoloaders at 4 or 4 meters or longer, that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, wouldn't you want them at 5 meters? I don't know. So load shells from ammo clips and ammo intakes. Once loaded, the shell is ready. So you can connect things directly to the gauge increasers. It's just that the connectors allow you to connect more to them. Got it.
You can place autoloaders along the gauge line onto connectors or adjacent to other autoloaders. There is no penalty to placing them next to each other and no benefit of placing them on connectors or vice versa.
Okay, that's nice. So you can connect autoloaders to autoloaders. So pretty much all these things connect. That's nice. But the next thing it's saying is going to only be able to connect to autoloaders, I'm guessing. And that's going to be the ammo clips and ammo intakes.
Ammo clips are vital for storing your ammo shells as you await to fire them. They connect up to 4 sides of an autoloader, except for the 1 meter belt-fed autoloaders, and can stack up on top of each other to increase the number of stored shells.
Okay, that's
You
interesting.
can even see the shells loaded in the clip for the standard ammo clip. There is a solid variant that doesn't have to render these shells, which will increase the game performance. When an ammo clip is destroyed, the shells will also explode and can chain react, possibly destroying the entire cannon. Make sure your ammo clips are well protected, especially when using larger and more volatile shells.
Except there is the ammo ejector, right? Which is something triggers it. Not quite sure what triggers it. It might be customizable. And then it just ejects the shells so they don't explode. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you have the ammo clips that connect to the ammo loaders, but you can connect clips to clips, I think, is what he said. But you can connect them to all sides except for one side, and I think that would be this side. Okay, cool.
The ammo ejector is an advanced block that connects to the autoloader and will eject all shells in the autoloader and attach clips through the top of it. These shells are still live when ejected, and improper use may cause more harm rather than being helpful. On the other hand, they can also allow for some crafty building and can make even the largest of cannon systems safe to use. There is a variant of the ammo ejector that will eject bullets through the back as opposed to the top. Ammo ejectors are optional on advanced cannons. For the rest of the guide, they will be removed for simplicity's sake.
Thank you. So they do take up a connection slot or two, but they can make things safer, and I bet you could actually use those to make... I wonder, can you make a bomb craft that uses ammo ejectors to bomb other craft? Because I've seen cram cannon bombers, which is like no propulsion at all. It's just essentially drops the bomb. Well, of course, drops the bomb. Whereas regular cram cannons would shoot the projectile. It just kind of drops it with no propulsion. But you can make giant shields with that. And I've also seen missiles with that, where the actual missile is all warheads, and that's all it is, and you just drop it. Or you can use the ejectors to eject it down, and then you can also have magnets on the missile to do that. So, could you make a bomber craft that uses ammo ejectors to bomb enemies? I wonder if you can.
Now that we've got the specifics of autoloaders and their pieces covered, let's go to where we can load the shells. Ammo intakes connect to autoloaders or ammo clips and serve as ports to where shells can be loaded. You will need at least one per autoloader clip combination, or the autoloader will never have shells to fire. Later on, this process will be shown once the ammo customizer is discussed.
Okay, that's good. So essentially you have with each autoloader you have a system. You need ammo clips and you can customize the amount of ammo clips you want, but you need one ammo intake, and that's it. You only need one, but you need one ammo intake for it to work. Cool.
Remember, you only need at least one ammo intake per autoloader clip setup, but you can get benefits out of using more than one. The more ammo intakes you have, the faster the autoloaders and clips can obtain shells. This is quite useful when using belt-fed autoloaders since it reduces the time to fill the attached clips. It's important to ensure that you have enough ammo storage to sustain the ammo intakes.
Okay, so you can add more, so that is also customizable.
We now have everything in place to make use of the ammo controller and ammo customizers. The ammo controller can be placed anywhere on your craft, and ammo customizers connect to the controller in a line. You can add as many customizers as you want, but you will be restricted what can be put into the shell based upon its diameter and autoloader size for your cannon. In this case there are 5 ammo customizers which allow for 10 modules. If we keep the current gauge of 236mm, it would require at least a 3-meter autoloader in most cases. Rather than removing gauge increases, we can increase the number of barrels on the cannon to reduce the gauge to a more proper level. With 4 barrels, the gauge is now 95mm, which with 10 modules makes a 950mm shell, which is acceptable.
Okay, rather than removing gauge increases, we can increase the number of barrels on the cannon to reduce the gauge to a more proper level with... Okay, so the barrels more... So the gauge increasers make it... If I could find the recoil absorbers, what? Well, I can't hover over them, but the gauge increasers are for the entire mantlet. So if you have the barrels, if you have multiple barrels, it kind of splits the gauge between them. That's interesting. Didn't think it would be like that. I don't know what I thought it would be like. Kind of weird if you had like 5 barrels with gigantic shells, and then the ammo customizers plus the gauge, or some ratio between the twos. That is what determines the... Also, what is the sound? That's the sound. Okay. That's what determines what type of ammo loaders you need. That's interesting. Or not ammo loaders. That's not what they're called, are they? Auto loaders. Cool. Next. I said
With
next.
the customizers placed, we are currently firing a stick of gunpowder and no bullet. So let's change that. You can press Q on the controller to bring up the interface for creating a shell. This will show you statistics of the shell alongside the purpose of each part. For this shell we are creating a basic kinetic shell that uses an AP capped head, a couple of solid warhead bodies and a base bleeder. The versatility of shells you can make is quite high, so experiment to find what works best. Once you have your shell, press Q on the ammo intake on the cannon. Select the shell and it will automatically start loading shells. You can simply force assign all ammo intakes on the cannon to accept the shell, or you can create a mixed loadout with different shells by setting them up individually.
Really? That's interesting. Okay, so... How do you make it... Once you have a shell, press Q on the ammo intake on the cannon, select the shell, and it'll automatically start loading the shells. Okay, so if we go to the ammo intake, press Q, okay. Assign to all unassigned intakes. Okay, just kind of figuring out how this menu works. Not sure what that button does. I think it's supposed to switch between the different intakes, but it's not actually doing that for me. Ah, it is. Okay. Just... boom. Force assign all. There we go. That works. And next.
Now that we have the cannon loaded, let's go over the rest of the additives for the advanced cannon. The one that you will use the most will be the recoil absorbers. They help to absorb the recoil that the cannon causes when it fires. If you have insufficient recoil absorption, then not only will the recoil of the cannon affect your craft more, but your cannon will also suffer an inaccuracy penalty.
Okay. That's cool. So you need recoil absorbers, and those connect to the cooling vents. So here's where you get the base connectors, secondary connectors thing. Also, ammo storage. We're not going to worry about those right now. But you have the main piece, which is the firing piece. Then you have the connectors, which are the cooling vents, the splitter, and the gauge increasers. And then you have the secondary connectors in the autoloaders, or I guess that's more of a module. So you have modules that connect to the connectors, which are the recoil absorbers, the autoloaders, and the autoloaders also act as a connector where you connect things to the autoloaders to make it a full module. That I understand it in my mind. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
the laser targeter allows the cannon to automatically set the timer settings for fuses that the advanced cannon shells use. It can be placed on the firing piece, gauge increasers, coolers, or connectors, and does not require a visual line of sight to operate. This part is essential for creating shells that use timed fuses.
Okay, that's cool. Is it required though? Automatically set the timer settings for your fuses so that the advanced cannon shells can be placed on the firing piece, gauge increasers, coolers. Visual line of sight does not require one. Okay, that's nice. But it looks like it's not required. It's only if you want timed fuses on your shells.
The predictor is a basic piece designed for manually operated guns by the player. It will create a trajectory line so you can see where the shot will land. This piece is optional and essentially does nothing for AI-controlled cannons.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about that. I'm guessing it's kind of like what we had on the Cram Cannon, where it's just kind of a laser pointer showing where it'll go.
We have finished covering the main parts of an advanced cannon,
Awesome.
and all of this can be used to make most conventional cannons. However, what about railguns?
Aha!
That will be explained and pass beyond this step.
Darn it!
If you have no interest in railguns, you can now close out of this guide. Otherwise, continue on.
Oh, it's in this guide. Okay, good.
Railguns are used to propel high-speed shells at targets that gunpowder-infused shells could only dream of. The railgun fixture attaches to the firing piece of the cannon and serves as the base for attaching barrel magnets. The fixtures require energy on the craft using the cannon, and the more fixtures you have, the more energy that can be used to supply to the attached barrel magnets. Railgun settings can be adjusted by pressing Q on the firing piece and going to the Railguns tab.
If we go to the firing piece, there we go, and you can probably look in there. Railgun, there we go, right there. Untouchable energy reserve. This percent of your vehicle's energy will never be touched by the railgun. That's good to know. Use this much energy for each shot, or the maximum possible for the loaded shell, whichever is lower. That's nice. The percentage of the energy used to improve accuracy. This energy will not be used to increase speed. Railgun casing shell modules help to deliver more accuracy using this method. Okay, that's cool. So you can choose. So this is essentially, you have the gun, and the gun shoots. It takes ammo and it shoots. What the railgun does is it's saying, okay, instead of using just ammo to shoot, what if I use energy to shoot? Because energy is another resource that you have in the game. So if I take energy, so you have the main resources are, well, resource and energy, and ammo is made with resource. So energy, it's saying, okay, so what if I put energy in it as well? And so this, and these settings actually really clarify that. Untouchable energy reserve, so if you don't want the railgun sapping all your energy reserves, and if you want it to just stop after your energy reserves get low, you can set this. Maximum energy per shot, this is just how much is taking out per shot, which is good to differentiate those two. So you can say, yeah, we're just going to make one massively fast shell and put that all the way up. But I don't really want you to pull any energy, so I'll put that at 99. So you'll shoot one shot, and it might drain all my energy, and it'll project the shot really, really quickly. But I don't want you to shoot any more than that until we've completely loaded back up on energy. So you can do that. Or you can say, you know what, I don't really want it taking that much energy per shot, but I'll let this be nice and reliable. I'll put this down so it'll shoot a ton of shots, and it'll keep going and keep going and keep going, so you don't have to worry about that. or percent energy used for accuracy if you want a really reliable gun, but don't really care that much about damage. You just want it to be reliable. You can put this at something like 90, so it won't be sapping much energy. Put this all the way at 100, so it's the actual energy addition isn't making it any more powerful, but it's making it a lot more accurate. And then you can do this to make it extremely accurate, I guess.
Railgun charges are essential for recharging the railgun and are placed on the firing piece, gauge increasers, coolers, connectors, or stacked among each other. The more charges you have, the faster the railgun will charge up.
So also with the railgun, I forgot to actually talk about the hardware that it uses. So you have the railgun magnets, which are essentially the barrels of it, and they go on the barrels. Then you have the magnet attaching fixture. I think that's what. Yes, it is, and that attaches to the firing piece. You have to attach those directly to the firing piece, and those allow the attachment of railgun magnets along the barrel. So that allows for more sets of magnets. And then you have the chargers, which is saying right here, which is another set of hardware, and it's another module. So it's like the autoloaders, it's like the recoil absorbers. It's another module that attaches to the cooling vents. But on these, I don't think it works on the recoil absorbers, but it does work on the autoloaders, where you can connect it to itself, which is cool. Increases the energy recharge rate of railguns, so it'll be able to take energy out of the reserves faster, is what I'm guessing. That's really loud. But anyway. I mean, that's really cool music, but it is also super loud. So let's go into designer mode, and I want to see if I can actually make an advanced cannon with that set. I'm still really bad at using the build mode, but I want to see if I can do it. I wonder how I make another craft. Destroy all vehicles. And resume. So it'll give me just one block to build off of. Okay, I'll be right back after I made a base, and I want to see if I can make an advanced cannon, just any advanced cannon, a thing that will shoot a bullet. Okay, I have a platform built. I am going to keep on, and if you don't know what these are, they're just air pumps. I'm like, you know what? I am at the bottom of the ocean. I thought, you know what? This might get a bit heavy, and I don't want this sinking on me because I want to be able to actually test it. And oh, this is going to be really rocky. I'm going to make a keel, but I'm like, I don't want this to sink at all, so just put a bunch of air pumps on it. Perfect. But anyway, I'm going to put a keel on this real quick so it's not rocking around like crazy when we're trying to test this. Okay, so I decided to go with a little bit of a different approach by making kind of this kind of thing, which makes it a lot more stable. I actually messed around with it a long time. I made a huge keel and it just sunk us, and I couldn't get the air pumps to work even though we put like 500 on them or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I remade it, and then I made this, which is actually pretty stable. So, on to not particle cannons, advanced cannons. So, where is the first thing we want is a turret. So these are prefabs. Those are all prefabs, so we don't want to worry about those. Right now we want just a regular turret, which is gauge cooler 5-way. Is that kind of like a cooling splitter? Kind of similar thing? I don't know. But that's not what I want. Where is the... Let's see. There we go. So we have the 1-axis turret for 5 meter, 1-axis turret for 3 meter, 1-axis turret, regular, elevation only, and 2-axis turret. So I think I'm going to go with a 1-axis turret. So that'll make it so it can't shoot up at all, and that's upside down. So it'll make it so it can't shoot up at all. I am getting flipped all around right now. Just delete that. I did not like that. Okay. No, not a 2-axis turret. 1-axis turret. But I think that'll be fine. So, do you want the arrow to go up or forward? Let's go down. Probably not that. Let's go forward. That's going up. Okay, so you want it going forward, it looks like. 1x turret. There we go, perfect. So that's the way it's facing. Okay, so bear with me, because I am definitely not very good at this. I mean, this is literally the first time I'm doing it. And I'm gonna try and make a railgun, because it's not that hard to turn an advanced cannon into a railgun, it seems. So, how do you build it from the... You know what, I'm going to actually look at this thing. So I'm gonna have the prefab over here. If it will go over here. There we go. Well, I don't actually want it there, though. There we go, that is off. Here. So, I'm going to have this here, and that's only so that I can get a kind of reference. So if I'm forgetting anything, that'll kind of tell me. Also, don't worry about my hotbar right now. So you have the turret, and then you have the AI and everything. Okay. Then you have the gauge increaser. So where is your... So let's get rid of the metal. I would have to go into the actual turret. Okay. And there is a way to get it to look like everything is separated, and I might try and do that. We'll see. Whoops. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try and see what button that does, or rather what button that is that does that. There we go, it's P. Now this might be garish to look at, but it actually helps me because I can go into here and kind of look at it. It's still really weird to look at it, and it's gonna be hard to kind of understand, but I think it's gonna be okay. So where is, just to kind of get a central idea, where is your firing piece? So your firing piece is up here, and you have gauge increasers that are connecting it to the bottom, so it's kind of like those connection points which are connecting it. So you could do cooling and gauge increasers. I don't know if we're gonna have to do cooling. Okay, so we are, since they are doing cooling. That means no matter what size, you're gonna have to do some amount of cooling. But what they have going on is they have it so the connection points are going here, then back, then down, and then splitting off here. Okay, that's interesting. Let's switch it back to normal, and let's try and copy the same onto our thing. So if we go to advanced cannon, then we go to, let's see here, gauge increaser. There we go, and rotate it. Nope, it doesn't look like that. That wants to go in there. Okay, let's look back at this craft. Which honestly makes sense, but yeah, it just kind of has the gauge increaser right there. It doesn't have anything that seems to connect it to the turret, which is interesting. But that is using a 2-axis turret, so what if I used a 2-axis turret instead? That's not a 2-axis turret, that's the 1-axis 360... Wait. That's the 3 mil? Or 3 meter? Yeah, okay, 3 meter turret, that's what it's... Got it. Return to main craft. Get rid of this. There we go. Honestly, let's just place one repair bot. Defense, maybe? Nope. Miss. Repair bot. let's mirror across center. There we go. And let's just put some repair bots on. And that way, I think those can repair blocks that are partially destroyed. I think they can, but I could be wrong with that. Anyway, some objects. There we go. And then let's try with an advanced cannon. Let's try putting just some random stuff on there. So can we put a gauge increaser on there? Yes, we can. So it's different with the other turrets. Gotcha. So the mantlet goes directly onto the firing piece, so we don't have to worry about those right now. Those are like pretty much the end, I think. And honestly, I don't know what. I know I said I would make like a Gatling gun or a minigun or something like that, but for now, I'm just gonna try and make something that works. And it's probably really inefficient, and there are so many things to keep track of that, like a ton of levels to keep track of, that some of them are going to be redundant, and I know that. But hey, let's see. So, gauge increaser. Which way do you like to go on? Can you go on this way? Yes, you can. Not connected to a firing piece, that's okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Honestly, I don't want to go that big, so let's just put 3 gauge increasers on there. And then let's put a cooling unit. Let's put 3 on there, why not? Coolant splitter, I guess we could do. So let's do something like that, and then I think I can put the firing piece on there. And all of, if there are any From the Depths like players actually watching, they're like, what the hell are you doing? Advanced firing piece, there we go. Boom. And then let's go to a mantlet. I don't know what mantlet I want. With even, okay. 2 meter by 1 meter wide, low and very high elevation. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that or what it means, so yay. Very high elevation. Okay, so it doesn't move side to side when it moves up and down. This is even, but it's bigger. This is, okay, so it's pretty much medium, low and high, so what's the point of this one? I don't know, but for now I'm just going to use an Omni because that seems like the simplest, and is that backwards? That might be backwards. And it looks like this is not connected to an APS firing piece. It's not connected. Let's see. I don't know why this wouldn't be connected, unless it's facing the wrong way. There we go, it was facing the wrong way. And then we put the mantlet on. Just this mantlet will do. And what if we turn it around? Then it breaks everything. So that's the right way around, it seems. Okay, then let's put some barrels on there. That's a lot of barrels. So we got the heavy barrels start, heavy barrel. So different meter of barrel. Okay, let's just use a regular barrel, I guess. So that is length, gotcha. So you have a barrel, a heavy barrel, start, heavy barrel, and heavy barrel end. And then you have the, on the y-axis, and then you have the lengths on the x-axis. So you have the muzzle brakes, and then bore evacuator. For now, let's just do something like that. And that should work fine. This thing looks funny, to say the least. And maybe that's enough cooling. If it's not, I can replace this corner with something else. Let's put a muzzle brake on the end, why not? Just this muzzle brake. I mean, what would the other ones do instead? Probably different stats, I'm guessing. Variant and variant. So what are the differences here? I don't see the differences. Okay, well, I'm just gonna put that on. And have to say, it is actually really exciting to be able to be doing this and actually know what I'm doing. And honestly, I'm gonna try this with no connectors and just autoloader, boom, clip, there, 2-meter shells. I don't know what meter I'm going to use, thing. And then I need, let's see, what's the difference between these two? Solid ammo clip and regular ammo clip. Is that just this is full and this one's not? Not sure. This clip does not render shells such as... Ah, okay. Well, for now, I'm going to try the regular ammo clips to see how that works. And, okay, so that's where you get the 1 meter, 2 meter, etc. Gotcha, gotcha. And then let's put the ammo intake on there, which is where... autoloader, it's not an autoloader's Eclipse. Ammo input feeder, that's what I'm looking for. So why is this not working? Not connected. Okay, this does not... Wait, not connected. Connect to an APS autoloader or an ammo clip. No clips attached. That's interesting. Let's try this again. Aggressive attachment of ammo clips that handle shells up to 1 meter long. Belt-fed loader loads much faster than a standard autoloader, but the clip cannot be fired during the reload phase. Okay, how do I change between the two? Not sure. Oh, was it on the... Was I connecting to the wrong thing? I bet I've been connecting to the wrong part of it. So let's try connecting to this part. Nope, still not working. Connecting to this part. There we go, that's the part that it wants me to connect to. So with that known, let's try and move the autoloader, or rotate the autoloader rather, to be like that. I don't think the orientation of the ammo clip matters, but let's test it. Okay, it does. It definitely does matter. And now I don't know the correct orientation. That's the correct orientation. Okay, sweet. There we go. Next, we want the ammo input feeder, and let's just put that on the end here. And honestly, boom. Sorry. Yeah, just add tons of them. Why not? I mean, I don't think there's any not assigned to ammo controller. Yep, we're gonna fix that in a little bit once we actually get the thing made. I accidentally pressed caps lock. Okay. Really should get some water. Let's get some recoil absorbers. Why not? 8 meter? Yeah, that's too long. 4 meter, I think, is the right length. No, we can do 6 meter. Boom, recoil absorbers. And I think that'll be enough, although I'm not quite sure. And I think those have to go along it, so I can't, like... Is that gonna work? I don't know, but am I gonna try it? Hell yes I am. That's quite interesting there. Let's actually rotate it around so it's going this way. That might make it look a little bit... What if we just make it go along the length of the barrel? Nah, that's fine. What the hell? I hope that doesn't work. Anyway, moving on to... Railgun, not yet. What else did we need? We have the auto loaders. You know what? I think we can move on to the customizer and controller. I think. So let's put the controller down right here. Oh, does it have to be connected to a customizer for it to be placed? No, we're on the wrong thing. Well, I want to go back to the craft, please. There we go, that's back to the craft. I thought it was the other button. Okay. Anyway. And I don't know if that'll work, but let's see if it will. All gunpowder casing, and then let's put an EMP warhead. And let's put HE body. There we go. Perfect. That's definitely going to work. I see absolutely no problem with that. Am I missing anything? There has to be something that I'm missing. Well, I have to go through all of these and then change them to boom, force assign all intakes to this ammo source. Is that working? Next intake. Okay, yep, they're all connected. So, is this actually going to fire? Reloading. Okay. Vehicle has no ammunition storage. Yeah, that would do it. Resources. Ammo barrel. There we go. And fill tool is still not working. Still don't know how to get that to work. There we go, that should be enough. Out of build mode. Reloading. Shell is too long for the shell rack and cannot be accepted. Okay. So casing module is 5. Why is there one on the end that's just not being used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so casing modules means that. Okay. Now here's where I don't really know. Is I don't know how to check. I don't know what those things at the bottom are. I don't know how to check what size of autoloader it needs. Only has clip on the top face, and once it has begun firing, you'll... Okay, I'm guessing we have too many gauge increasers. So, let's add more barrels. Advanced cannons. Barrels. Barrel. How do I make it so there are more barrels? I don't know why that's not working. Do I have them turned around? Yes, I did. Gauge increasers available, which is how many I placed down. Okay, that's what that means. So all no shell loaded. Okay, stats. that means. Okay. What if I do that? Then can I add more barrels to it, or what? How does multiple barrels work? I don't know how multiple barrels work. But what did I just do? I made it so it can shoot, so I can actually, so the gauge increasers make a maximum amount of, maximum gauge, but I can choose what gauge I want out of that maximum gauge. And so, I, of course, chose a tiny gauge, the smallest possible, and this thing is absolutely, like, this thing is horrible. It's so small. So I'm not sure how to check. Okay, I don't know how to check what autoloader you need for the shells. Right, I don't know how to check that. But apparently this is working. Did that actually use all of them? No, it only used one shell. Oh, that's just a very low fire rate. Probably because I have one autoloader. But hey, it's a thing that shoots. I'm proud of myself. So, let's see. I'm going to actually quickly look up how I do multiple barrels, and I'll be right back. So I'm not quite sure how to make multiple barrels, but in the end, I made a cannon, and it shot, and I think I could probably make a better one. That's always fun. And I could probably make a better one, and I could probably figure out what makes it good or not. Like, I think I did that. So, and I figured out what everything does, and I know how to make an advanced cannon, and I know how to make a missile system. Actually, with that said, let's make a simple missile system real quick. First I'll repair the ship. Okay, it's pretty much repaired. So, let's try and make a very simple missile system, just something that will shoot missiles. So, we have a controller. Let's put down the controller. How is that facing? Let's... There we go. And then a connector. Or a couple. Then let's do... You know what? Let's do the massive missiles. Why not? Darn it. Keep doing that on accident. Huge missiles. Huge launcher. I'm just gonna make a huge missile. Literally, a huge missile. I wonder if you can do different types of missiles from the same controller. So then we have small missiles. And it seems like you can. That's pretty nice. And you cannot connect missiles to missiles. So let's do the small gantry. Oh, right, the gantry for these guys looks different. There we go. That should be big enough. And it's fine. Probably actually too big, but it's fine. Then let's go to huge missiles, then huge gantry. There we go. These things are absolutely massive. And then let's go and frag. No. No thank you. Let's go and place the frag with... Where do I go to edit? Don't really know how this works. Warheads, there we go. Let's do not AP, let's do EMP. Why not? EMP and a bit of frag. No, and a bit of explosive, rather. Let's do variable thruster. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. And then for the smalls, that's a lot of... Yes, this seems absolutely perfect. I don't see how anything could go wrong with this. Fuel tank. Fuel tank. Fuel tank. Fuel tank. Fuel tank. Because I'm guessing we're gonna need more thrusters than this. No, it doesn't look like we can have more thrusters than this. It looks like you can only have one thruster, which is interesting. Really? Huh. Okay. Then probably want more fins as well, but there we go, that'll work. Oh yeah, and then assign that to all. There we go. And then we can close out of this. What else are we missing? Oh, the craft is getting a bit heavy. Nothing! Yeah, the craft is getting really heavy now. It's starting to sink a bit. And you know what? Let's try to load vehicle. Let's go to Deepwater Guard. What's that? Okay. Built-in, that should be good. Neater. No, not drones. I don't know what any of these are. Sure. That looks like it'll instantly kill us. Let's not do that one. Actually, pretty much everything will instantly kill us. There we go. I didn't realize it would spawn inside. Well, this is interesting. I think it's safe to assume our craft is dead. Let's see if I can break through this and see what's going on. Ah, so it seems like the game decided to replace our vehicle, which isn't exactly what I wanted, but oh well. We made missiles work. We made an advanced cannon work. We made we successfully got me to ruin everything. So I think that's a successful video for today, and it's very long, so that's going to be the end of today's episode. If you made it this far, you're absolutely insane. I don't know what's going on, but you probably shouldn't have watched all this, since this was pretty boring. I'll try and make some more episodes, but between episodes I'm going to try and figure out more that I can about the game. But the next episode on From the Depths will probably be doing campaign, or it'll be messing around in creative. Probably more messing around in creative. So expect a lot of building in the next episode. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. And no, I will not be live streaming this game. I don't want to go through a